want to play a couple pieces of video here. Cut 9, please. This is Erica Kirk and our second lady, Vice President Vance's wife, holding hands coming off of Air Force Two as they land in Phoenix. She's coming out. There's Erica coming out at the top of the stairs, and she's holding Mrs. Vance's hand. You see, Charlie's wife just looks like she's just, like a widow who, like Jackie O looked when she arrived back home in Washington, D.C. Cut 10, they're loading Charlie's body into a hearse yesterday to bring it home. And you see one of the pallbearers is J.D. Vance. And I find myself saying this all the time. This is something I've never seen before in my life. I have never seen, I've never seen an assassination. I've seen an assassination attempt twice in my life, but I've never seen an assassination of anyone in my life in America. And then I don't remember this from the history books, having our vice president or our president involved at this level, moving the body back home. The Vances I think they're remarkable people. I think he's going to be an incredible president. I think he is going to be an incredible president. But we with the Vances, usually a society gets what it deserves. I'm not sure we deserve the Vance family at this point. Here's when the plane touched down, Air Force Two, when the plane touched down, here's the welcome home from the tower. Listen.
26 Southwest 56 Welcome home, Charlie. You didn't deserve it. May God bless your family.
I will not cry. President Trump said later this month the funeral will be held, and he is planning on attending. And I'm assuming that will be in Phoenix, where they will lay him to rest. I think we need to stop calling Charlie Kirk an activist or anything else. A political figure. It's time to call him what he really was. Because of what he died doing, Charlie Kirk is a civil rights icon. Charlie Kirk was a civil rights leader that was martyred standing up for civil rights. And it is time that our side declares that and stands on that and claims that territory. These so-called civil rights leaders that have been around for the last 30 years are jokes. They're money hustlers, they're dividers, and they have nothing to do with civil rights. Martin Luther King was a civil rights leader. Martin Luther King was that man. RFK Jr. could even be called a civil rights leader. JFK could be called a civil rights leader. They led the way. Everyone else was just playing it for cash and for power, and I'm sick of it. Charlie Kirk died standing up and trying to show people how to exercise your civil right in a civilized manner. And they gunned him down because of it. It's time to start calling him Charlie Kirk, the civil rights leader. You have John on? Yeah, John, how are you? Thank you for coming on today.
Well, Glenn. I'm well, thank you. I couldn't agree more with what you just said. You're right on the money.
So, John Solomon from Just the News. John, we have apparently the guy in custody. What do we know about this?
Correct. So we believe he's a man that looks just like the photo. We believe that after the FBI put out the photos and had some other information they were pursuing about friends and affiliates of this shooter, that the father and minister apparently played a role in getting this man to surrender. We don't know much more than that.
Hold on just a sec, John. Would you do me a favor and would you check, because everybody's using the word minister, and in Utah, the word would be bishop. If he was an LDS member, it would have been bishop. And I'm interested to know if it was.
I don't have that level of detail. I've been asking, obviously, because it is Utah, and you think that way. But we don't know. It's only been described by law enforcement to me as a minister or a clergy person. So we don't know more than that. Hopefully we'll know more soon. But you're right. It's the right question to ask. We've been asking it.
Good.
But and they're still interrogating. They're still doing search warrants and other things. But they feel pretty confident based on the way this came through. And I think the question now becomes, in what circle was this young man working? And what ideology was he lured into? It sounds like he comes from a good family, obviously a family, if accurate about the father's cooperation, even doing the right thing at a painful moment like this. But in what circle was he walking, and where was he getting radicalized, and what was the ideology driving this? And I think we're going to learn a lot about some entities and groups in Utah that will maybe give us some sense of what was festering right below our noses. This is a problem on social media. Particularly in the last 5 years, we've allowed a lot of different ideologies and groups to fester, and they're picking off our children, even children that come in good homes. And we'll have to just wait and see. But that's the early assessment I've gotten from law enforcement. A lot of parts to be filled in, but they feel very confident they have the man, and that the danger to the public has diminished. That doesn't bring much solace to Charlie Kirk's family, but knowing the guy's in custody, I think, is good for the entire country.
I have been informed, and without revealing, any specifics, but I have been informed that they are looking into groups that may have been involved. This is kind of like where was it in Texas? The shooters where they had people that were helping. It was coordinated. And have you heard anything about a possible coordination, that it wasn't just, duping some kid and brainwashing some kid, but there was actual coordination and possibly foreign coordination?
They're looking at some things. I don't think they've come to an assessment yet. I was familiar yesterday and about a look at a couple of groups that they were looking at, and I don't think they've made a full assessment. I think that's why the debriefing and the getting his phone, getting his computer, getting his video gaming connections, anything that's the part of the phase that they're in now. There was some leads that they were looking at that pointed to, as I said on TV the last couple of days, some possible. There was a tip from a foreign country about some operating entities in this area of Utah that might have been involved. It was just a tip. I think they're trying to put those pieces together. We'll find out more in the day or so, but they're open to that possibility. I don't think they've closed down a certain certitude to it yet.
Yeah. Tell me what you know about, what's his name? Sky Valaldez? Is that it?
Yeah.
He is the guy who apparently had a SoundCloud account, and on August 7th, he posted something, Charlie Kirk dead at 31, and he's had a couple of other things like that he has posted in the last few months. Do we know anything about this guy?
No, I don't yet. I'm aware of the reports. I know that the FBI is aware of the reports. I don't know whether they have found any relevancy to that or whether it's just a provocateur. We just don't know. I've not been able to reach this gentleman. We're trying to do due diligence, but I know of no reason at this moment of a connection other than these reports and the SoundCloud. We understand that. I know the FBI was aware of it. But there's chatter all the day. One of the great challenges in the world we live in today, with so many people wanting to be provocateurs, so many people wanting to express hatred. We've mainstreamed hatred. We've made it fashionable in certain circles of young people. It's almost shocking to me, but you're sorting through, and when you're the FBI and you got 1,000 leads, some are provocateurs. Is that a provocateur? Is that the guy about to commit the next murder? You don't know. And I think that's one of the things. I think the bigger lesson from this is we've allowed a culture of hatred and intolerance to literally boil over to the idea now that people don't have any prohibition talking about wanting to kill someone in an open space. I mean, most murderers are secretive. People are talking about those ambitions. Look at the gentleman that was rolled up in North Carolina a couple days ago, talking on it was YouTube. I'm going to kill a bunch of kids in a school. We've allowed this culture to boil into a place where it is very dangerous. Any person could be a stick of dynamite lit, and I think that's what's dangerous. Those who like this culture deserve to be held accountable. We've got to start holding those who are boiling the water accountable.
And I have to tell you, the biggest group that I have seen, I mean, I've been, thank God for the ladies at The View. There's been a lot of people that have come out with good statements, et cetera, and condemned all of this. But the biggest group of people that seem to be celebrating are teachers. And I find it interesting that the president of UVU, President Tamunez, has not made a statement at all. The university did, but the university president didn't make any statement on this, and I think that's an abomination. And I would like to know why. Yeah. What are her feelings?
Yeah, those are important questions, and you're right. Academia has been a big part of the radicalization of the last two generations, millennial and Gen Z. Gen Z is trending more conservative in general, but there are segments of it that are getting poisoned, and there's this romanticism of righteous revolution, which is basically sanctioning hatred and sanctioning violence and sanctioning that the ends justify the means. And I believe in free speech. Even if you're stupid, you're entitled to your free speech. But we have to find that line where we protect people from the exercise of free speech when it targets a vulnerable person who's capable of being turned into a weapon. And we don't know enough about this case to make that assessment yet, but we do know of many painful cases before Charlie Kirk's assassination where that is the imprimatur and footprint. And I think everyone that's in the business of education, everyone that's in the business of media, those who showed such bad taste on news shows, I never thought in my life I would live to a time to see journalists exhibit some of the behavior I saw on news shows in the immediate aftermath of Charlie Kirk's assassination. We all have a responsibility to clean this up if we're going to keep kids from going off the cliff. And we're not having a serious enough conversation about it. We do it for a day or two and then we move on, but it's still festering. And our enemies, China, Iran, Russia, they're helping boil it. I was watching in real time as we were doing our work on Charlie Kirk and trying to break stories and keep people informed, watching a bot farm, numerous bot farms, foreign bot farms, trying to inflame our dialogue. And so our enemies know we're vulnerable to it, and they're adding to these raids. And then we got a tough situation. I have a lot of confidence that we're at a moment of clarity, and I think there'll be a lot of responsibility in the next few days, and maybe this suspect's story will shake us all to the ground enough to start coming up with solutions, because we started talking about it with the Virginia Tech and Columbine shootings. We haven't come to grips with what's happening in the social media era, but we'll get there. I have confidence that Americans can get the right thing done.
So, John, would you a personal request? Because I trust you, and I've watched you, read you, and listened to you for a very long time, and I think you are really truly an honorable American.
Thank you.
I am concerned. The last time we went through something like this, we came up with the Patriot Act, and that was a really bad thing. And I would ask that if you see anything brewing like that from either side, their side, our side, anybody's side, that you would alert me and alert America as soon as and early as you see any kind of inklings or rising of that. We cannot go too far the other way.
No, I mean, listen, you know where this is going to start? It's going to start in our homes, at our churches, and our communities. That's where it's rightfully fixed. It's where we all got It's where we all got delayed.
Yep.
I mean, COVID kind of woke us up. Like, what's going on in our schools?
I know.
We have to fix this. Government's not going to fix this. We have to fix it as a people. And hopefully this is a moment of clarity for all of us. But we'll see. It's terrible that we had to lose Charlie to get to this moment. But I know he'd want us fighting for the solution. So
I know he would too. John Solomon, thank you so much. Just the News CEO and editor-in-chief of Just the News. If you're not reading Just the News every day, you should be. JustTheNews.com. There's more information. Stu was just talking about the things that are on these bullets. And it looks like there wasn't a transgender. That was what came out yesterday. There may have been one. What was the bullet on? What was the one that said bulges? And,
it says notices bulges OW. I'm not sure what that means. And then it says, "What's this?" ? So you could see that again. A lot of it is
maybe.
A lot of it is juvenile comedy type stuff, right? So like it's written in a very trolling like internet language in some of it. So you could see this essentially meaning it could potentially, when you're talking about bulge, that word is used at times. If you say, "Hey, someone sees a bulge," and then "What's this?" You could argue that has something to do with trans stuff, but not like there's not like a statement out of the ones they've released. No. There's not a blatant statement of trans ideology. There is anti-fascist ideology and
anti-capitalism.
And the song "Ciao Bella," which was it's a song that's an anti-fascist song from Italy that they still use, I believe, today to talk about the end of fascism. But it was a anti-fascist, anti-capitalist anthem from back in the day. And it was also brought up. It was in a recent, I think, Netflix show, if I'm not mistaken. It was kind of brought back up in popular culture. Used in that way.
This goes to the education and I heard, and I don't know if this is true, so please know this is something that I heard from somebody that was in class at UVU in Utah that said when it was found out, when the teacher or somebody said that Charlie Kirk had been shot on campus, the class cheered. And that teacher, from what I understand, did not say anything about that. All of these teachers, any of these teachers that are still preaching this anti-capitalism, anti-fascist garbage, and any teacher that was online or in class saying anything other than, if my class would have cheered, I would have been horrified. And I would have said, stop it right now. We may not like Charlie Kirk. We may not agree with his message, but he has a right to speak. Stop that. And any teacher that didn't do that in a cheering classroom, any teacher that is cheering this stuff on or is excusing this needs to be fired. I don't care if you're a kindergarten teacher or a tenured professor. And if those universities won't fire those people that are encouraging revolution in our country, their federal funding should be cut off. I don't have a problem with free speech. I don't have a problem. You're an anti-capitalist. You're whatever. You don't like the right. You don't like John. You have a right to have that opinion. But if you are encouraging this kind of stuff and encouraging revolution, you do not have a place in an American classroom. Period.
And Glenn, if I may, we still don't know a lot, right? We still are at the very beginning of this, and it's important to note that a lot of these things can change, and our understanding of this can change. However, what we do know fits an interesting pattern that we've discussed for a very long time. What we're looking at is the initial indications of this family seems to be a very good family. It seems to be that.
Hang on, let me interrupt.
Sure.
Please pray for this family. Please pray for this family. Let's remember how the Amish dealt with the shooter. Remember the Amish, the milkman that came into the Amish community, lived in the community, went into the school and killed all of their children. Just killed them in school. And while the families were still taking the bodies out of the classroom, one Amish man said to his wife, "My gosh, that mom that lives here in our own community of the shooter, she lost a child too, and we haven't thought of anything about her." And they went and comforted her while they were still pulling their children's bodies out of the classroom. They are remarkable people. And we should be more like that. We should embrace this family and help this family heal. They are suffering as well. And how much of a pariah they must feel like the whole world is condemning them. You know what it's like to be a parent today. We have to be there for this family.
Yeah, the initial reporting is that, and again, it's important to note that we don't know all of this, and we will know more as we go forward. But the initial reporting is that the family seemed like a very good family. The kids seemed like kids that were good in school, were somewhat high achievers. That at least up until they left for college, everything seemed to be going pretty darn well. And then we see reports also that the parents said that he had become full of hate, that he had become much more political very recently, and that this ends, allegedly, with this shooter writing, killing Charlie Kirk because he believes he's a fascist. Now, we know, and we have talked about for a very long time, that, I mean, everybody in the media, everybody on the left has been telling the American people that any conservative figure, anyone who wants lower taxes, anyone who believes a man is a man and a woman is a woman, and all the things that we've talked about over the years, all of those people are fascists, and there's no other way to talk about it. We don't know that this is what happened, but it fits the fact pattern that we've been worried about for a very long time. Someone who grows up, who has a head on his shoulders, who goes to a university, who is bathed in internet culture and political nonsense from the people that we talk about on a daily basis, telling us lies about who's a fascist and who isn't, and eventually gets to a place where he decides to murder a young father because he believes he's a fascist. It fits a fact pattern that we've worried about for a very long time. It's shocking, but in a way, so not, right? It's so predictable. Not stunning or shocking at all.
I can predict what's coming next. It's not hard. It is not hard unless we turn this corner. As we salute civil rights leader Charlie Kirk.